I still remember the sound of rain hitting the metal roof of my garage that night. It was past 11, and I was about to close up when her car pulled into the driveway, headlights cutting through the darkness, engine sputtering like a dying heartbeat. I didn't know her then, not really, but I knew of her. Everyone in town did. My name's Ryan, and I run a small auto repair shop on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, just me, a garage, and the smell of engine oil that never quite washes off your hands. I'd been doing this for 6 years, ever since I dropped out of college and decided that fixing cars made more sense than fixing my own directionless life. I wasn't unhappy. I had my routine, my tools, my silence, but I wasn't alive either. Not until that night. She stepped out of the car and I recognized her immediately. Natalie Harrison. She was the kind of woman you noticed even when you didn't want to. Not because she tried, but because there was something about the way she carried herself. Elegant, quiet, untouchable. She worked at the art gallery downtown. I'd seen her a few times through the window when I passed by, always dressed in black, always standing alone in front of paintings like she was having conversations no one else could hear. But that's not why everyone knew her. Everyone knew her because she was engaged to Marcus Caldwell, the heir to the largest real estate company in the state. Their engagement had been in the local paper, the perfect couple, the kind of love story people admired from a distance. And here she was, standing in my garage at 11:30 at night, soaked from the rain, looking at me like I was the only person in the world who could help her. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I know it's late." Her voice was quieter than I expected. I wiped my hands on a rag and walked over. "Car trouble?" She nodded. "It just died. I was driving home and it started making this awful noise, and then it stopped completely." I gestured toward the lift. "Pop the hood. Let me take a look." She hesitated for a second, like she wasn't sure if she should trust me, but then she opened the door and pulled the lever. The problem was obvious the moment I looked under the hood. Timing belt, completely shredded. "You're not driving this anywhere tonight," I said, standing up. "The timing belt snapped. If you'd kept driving, you would have destroyed the engine." She closed her eyes and exhaled slowly. Of course. There was something in her voice, not frustration, not anger, just exhaustion, like this was one more thing in a long line of things that had gone wrong. "I can fix it, but it'll take a couple of hours. You got someone who can pick you up?" She pulled out her phone, stared at the screen for a moment, then put it back in her pocket. "No," she said quietly, "not tonight." I didn't ask why. "You can wait inside if you want." I nodded toward the small office in the corner. "There's coffee. It's not great, but it's warm." She smiled, just barely. "Thank you." I don't know why, but I worked slower than usual that night. Maybe it was because I didn't want her to leave. Maybe it was because I liked the sound of her presence. Quiet, but not uncomfortable, like she belonged there. She didn't sit in the office. Instead, she wandered around the garage, looking at the tools on the walls, the half-finished cars in the corner, the old radio playing low static in the background. At some point, she picked up a wrench and turned it over in her hands like it was something fragile. "You do this alone?" she asked. "Most of the time. I had a partner once. Didn't work out." "Why not?" I shrugged. He wanted to expand, turn it into something bigger. I just wanted to fix cars. She set the wrench down carefully. "There's something honest about that." I glanced at her. "About what?" "Knowing what you want and not apologizing for it." There was something in her eyes when she said it, something sad. An hour passed, then another. The rain kept falling, steady and rhythmic, and somewhere along the way, the silence between us stopped feeling awkward. She asked me questions about the cars, about the town, about why I chose this life, and I answered. But then I asked her something I shouldn't have. "What about you?" I said. "Why are you out here alone at midnight?" She didn't answer right away. She just stood there, leaning against the workbench, arms crossed, staring at the rain through the open garage door. "I was supposed to be at a dinner party, one of Marcus's business things, but I couldn't stay. Why not? She laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound, because I didn't recognize myself there. Everyone was talking and smiling, and I just kept thinking, this isn't my life. I stopped working. She turned to look at me, and for the first time, I saw something real in her expression. You ever feel like you're living someone else's story? I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded. By the time I finished the repair, it was almost 2 in the morning. I wiped my hands and walked over to where she was sitting on an old wooden stool near the toolbox. "All done," I said. She looked up at me, and there was something in her eyes I couldn't name. "Thank you." I should have told her to drive safe, should have handed her the keys and walked away. But I didn't. Instead, I just stood there, looking at her, and for a moment, just a moment, I felt like the world had shrunk to just the two of us. "Can I ask you something?"
Yeah. She hesitated. Do you ever wish that you could just start over? Be someone completely different? I thought about it. Sometimes, I said, but I think the person I'd want to be wouldn't be that different from who I am now. She smiled, really smiled, and it was the first time I'd seen her look anything close to happy. I like that answer, she said. She stood up, and I walked her to the car. The rain had slowed to a drizzle now, and the air smelled clean, like the world had been washed anew. She opened the driver's door, then paused. "Ryan?" I turned. She was looking at me with an expression I'll never forget. Soft, vulnerable, honest. "I wish she were mine," she whispered. The words hit me like a punch to the chest. I didn't think. I didn't hesitate. "I wish that too," I said. For a moment, neither of us moved. The rain fell around us, and the world felt impossibly still. Then she stepped closer. Close enough that I could see the way her breath caught, the way her eyes searched mine like she was looking for permission. "I can't," she said, voice breaking. "I can't do this." "I know," I said. But neither of us stepped back. Her hand reached up, slow, tentative, and her fingers brushed against my jaw. Just barely. Just enough to feel real. "I don't even know you." "I know. But I feel like I do." "I know." She closed her eyes, and for a second I thought she might kiss me. But she didn't. Instead, she pulled her hand away, took a step back, and wrapped her arms around herself like she was trying to hold something together that was falling apart. "I'm sorry," she said. "I shouldn't have said that." "Don't be sorry." She looked at me one last time, really looked at me. And then she got in the car. I watched her drive away, watched the taillights disappear into the rain. And I stood there in the middle of the empty garage, hands still covered in grease, heart pounding in my chest like I'd just run a marathon. I didn't see her for 3 weeks after that, but I couldn't stop thinking about her, about the way she'd looked at me, about the way she'd said those words. "I wish she were mine." I told myself to forget it, told myself she was engaged, told myself it didn't matter. But it did. Because for the first time in years, I'd felt something. Then one afternoon, she walked into the shop. No car trouble this time, no rain, no excuses. She just walked in, stood in the middle of the garage, and looked at me like she'd been carrying something heavy and finally decided to put it down. I broke it off. I froze. The engagement, she said. I ended it. My heart stopped. Why? She stepped closer. Because I couldn't stop thinking about you, about that night, about what you said. Natalie, I know it's crazy, she said, voice shaking. I know we barely know each other, but I can't keep pretending I'm happy when I'm not. I can't keep living a life that doesn't feel like mine. I didn't know what to say, so I just walked over to her, slow and careful, like she might disappear if I moved too fast. Are you sure? I asked. She nodded. I've never been more sure of anything. I kissed her. Right there in the middle of the garage, surrounded by the smell of engine oil and the sound of tools scattered on the floor. And it felt like coming home. That was 2 years ago. We're not perfect. We're not a fairy tale. But we're real. She still works at the gallery. I still fix cars. And sometimes, late at night, when the rain is falling and the world feels quiet, she'll come sit in the garage with me while I work. She'll pick up a wrench, turn it over in her hands, smile. And I'll remember the night she whispered those words. I wish you were mine. And I'll think, you are. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.